Thank you, Annick. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to join you today, even if it's always difficult to speak after a minister. I heard the words European independence, European sovereignty in his speech, as well as in Augustin's speech, by the way, which gives me the opportunity to talk about, among other things, a subject that is close to my heart as chairman of the SYNTEC Federation, but also of MEDEF, you've mentioned it, Economic Sovereignty and Security Committee, and of course, as Deputy CEO of Sopra Steria. Sovereignty is critical indeed. We are facing a context of international economic tensions and increased rivalry between nations. At the top of the list of major sovereignty challenges is digital and its three inseparable levers: computing power, control over our data, maybe the most important, and secure connectivity, cybersecurity. At Sopra Steria, we are resolutely committed to providing European solutions to these challenges. Nevertheless, we all need to commit to protecting our European sovereignty. Otherwise, the European economic future will be made exclusively of subsidiaries of non-European groups, protected by non-European laws. This obviously paves the way to economic and industrial espionage, the action of certain activist funds, but it also prevents us from controlling our own destiny and making our own decisions. While the response to this economic and digital sovereignty challenge is political, companies also bear a responsibility since they are at the heart of economic sovereign issue. This is why I am delighted about the announcement by 16 banks to launch the European Payment Initiative. This is a great opportunity for Europe to assert our leadership and our sovereignty in payments. It has indeed become clear over the last 10 years with the launch of SEPA that payments are an important factor for European sovereignty and a critical driver for the greater international role of the euro. And in fact, the European payments landscape has evolved greatly over the last 2 decades, driven by changing customer and corporate demand, the accelerated digitalization of payment and banking in general, technological changes that calls into question the traditional payment business and completely disrupts the way people make payments, and also by an intense regulatory focus. This has resulted in a profound transformation of the payment market structure with new players, new channels for accessing services, and new business models. Over the years, we have seen the development of SEPA instruments by European banks like the SEPA Credit Transfer, SCT, or the SEPA Direct Debit, SDD, and more recently, the instant payment. Yet, as Gilles Grapinet from Worldline highlighted recently, it is ironic to notice that Europe is the only superpower using third-party brands for its own cross-border domestic retail payments within the SEPA countries. As multiple players across the world strive to have a central role in the customers' digital lives, it is increasingly clear that offering unified payment capabilities to customers remains critical. Payments are at the heart of the economy, and therefore they are an expression of sovereignty. Building a strong European payments environment that can compete with American or Asian payment players has not been and is still not an easy task, but it is necessary in order to preserve European competitiveness. The European Payment Initiative will take us to a whole new level. It will help supersede the fragmented landscape that still exists in the individual European markets, which makes them vulnerable to external players and therefore preventing the emergence of European champions. This will also benefit European citizens and retailers, providing a richer, seamless, and unified payment experience. To complete this payment journey, the new payment services, SEPA Request to Pay and the Interbank Initiative EPI, will be the key step towards unlocking the enormous potential that instant payments hold for consumers and businesses alike for the European market. In a rapidly evolving digital payments ecosystem, where convenient, secure, and agile solutions pop up in every domain, segment, and corner, Request to Pay is a revolution. It constitutes the missing link through which payees, beneficiaries, can simultaneously trigger the bill and generate the fund transfer. It reduces costs, fraud, and the painful invoice payment reconciliation for the payees, and provides convenience and flexibility for the payers. Actually, if you are curious about Request to Pay, Galit, Sopra Steria's payment subsidiary, has produced a white book that will be released tomorrow, so I would encourage you to connect with the Galit LinkedIn account to know more. But the creation of the European Payment Initiative will require major investments to build and run the world's most efficient and functionally complete payment infrastructure. This comes at a complicated time when banking sector margins have never been so endangered, with low interest rates, high equity capital requirements, competition from fintechs, and, of course, the health crisis. This will force all stakeholders to fundamentally rethink how they streamline their current payment systems and embark on a new wave of restructuring in payments. While the brand new SEPA credit transfer instant payment processing platforms will be one of the core components of these future systems, it is more than likely that new platforms, API native or not, will complete the existing cards payment solutions. Few banks can afford to embark on this new adventure on their own, and new alliances and partnerships will emerge in the coming month. The result will be a completely new payments landscape, with some banks focusing on building new platforms on their own or within new interbank alliances, while others will prefer to outsource and entrust their management to PSPs. Allow me to share a French success story, the creation of Transactis. Transactis was founded in 2008 as a joint venture between two equal partners, La Banque Postale and Société Générale. It was being designed to share IT investments and pool development, maintenance, and transaction processing costs. Initially specializing in cards payments, Transactis has more recently been developing a new SEPA and international direct debit and wire transfer management platform, as well as the instant payment solution, and is therefore a privileged position to move EPI forward. EPI is an attractive perspective for all stakeholders, be they banks, PSP, consumers, retailers, or corporates alike. While innovation in payments is fascinating, it also raises questions as to what is behind the race for new ideas and change. The answers are not always obvious or simple. Consulting and IT services partners will therefore be critical to deliver on that vision and turn it into a value-added reality for business. As a true European player, Sopra Steria designs, develops, and delivers technology solutions that can help achieve the EPI ambition by combining collaborative consultancy and strategic vision with payment expertise, digital best practice, and accelerated delivery. Beyond consulting, technology and engineering services companies, fintechs have also a big role to play. Because while it is true that the entry of fintech and big tech players has revolutionized the B2C and B2B payment space with a multitude of payment solutions by leveraging their undeniable skills in customer experience, technological agility, superior data analytics, or machine learning capabilities. Most of them, however, have been providing national solutions. For example, Payconic in Benelux or Vipps in Norway. Payment is indeed not a national game anymore. The payment service directives should help address this challenge and open the doors to the creation of true European fintech champions, thus allowing them to play a fundamental role. As commission and payments fees decline, wallets will be able to use the data they collect to create new services and revenue streams, such as selling unbilled products that complement banks' value proposition or embedding technology in products and services to ultimately provide a seamless customer experience. Because in the end, this is what matters, the creation of European champions in payments that will allow us to compete on the worldwide scene if we do not have the American deep pockets or the Chinese volumes. On a personal level, I'm in favor of the fact that we nurture a concern for the emergence of a European industrial policy, and not only a concern for enforcing the EU competition laws. This would guarantee a better balance when investigating competition and help us create the European champions Europe so badly needs. And I can only welcome the creation of a truly unified European payment solution for consumers and retailers like EPI. This is the proof that an industrial policy can support the implementation of a political agenda for both European public institutions and national authorities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Laurent. Thank you for your speech. I would like to ask you just a question. As you know, your experience in other sector of what is for you the best practices that we have to implement in the payment industry in your own point of view?
Well, for sure, I'm not a banker, so I will be very cautious. But
it's not only banker.
If I look to my other experience and other jobs in the past, I can say that, for example, in health industry or in the defense sector, we often consider three different circles to control our sovereignty, our independence, our relocation also, which is another debate. The first circle is what you really want to control at a national level. The second circle is that we can afford to master in Europe, at the European level. And the third circle, what can be found among third parties. In the field of defense, for instance, Circle 1, nuclear power. Circle 2, fighter aircrafts. Circle 3, small arm calibers. We can make, or try to make the analogy in payments with, for example, Circle 1, the habits of consumers who have different ways of paying in each of the European countries. France with cards and checks, Germany with cash and transfers, and so on. Maybe it's cliché, but okay. It will therefore be necessary to take into account the existing situation and leave control of the products to each local bank, for instance. Circle 2, the acceptance of payments from retailers on a European scale, payment infrastructures, non-competing services such as the fight against fraud or terrorism must by essence be European because they will be more efficient. And Circle 3, on a global scale, consumers need to be able to pay anywhere in the world and therefore to have access to international schemes such as Visa and MasterCard, of course, but without European becoming dependent on them. That's something which could inspire a vision also maybe for the payment industry. We feel at MEDEF that sovereignty is not a narrow concept, a very national issue. It's at least a European topic, and it is not. It is a visionary, open concept. That's why we have to consider these different circles. Thank you.